promise you that after this episode, your distaste for government is going to scale to new heights because, okay, so let me just bring you up to speed.
But you don't even have a sense to even look in our face. But you rather just steal our money and do what you want to do.
The unfolding political drama in Dolton, Illinois has captured the attention of many as its mayor. Tiffany Henyard finds herself at the center of a storm of corruption, blackmail, police harassment, financial mismanagement, and controversial alliances. A self-proclaimed super mayor, Henyard has held office since 2021, but her tenure has been anything but smooth. Accusations of corruption and mismanagement have plagued her leadership, and the local community is beginning to question whether the mayor's grip on power will continue to hold. A rocky start to Henyard's reign. When Tiffany Henyard first took office in 2021, she promised to bring a new approach to governance. But many residents quickly grew skeptical. Early warning signs of her controversial leadership began with allegations of financial mismanagement, a concern that only grew in the months that followed. The situation reached a boiling point when it was revealed that Dolton had failed to meet state requirements for financial reporting. In fact, the Illinois State Controller even suspended some payments to the village due to this failure. This was just the beginning of a string of accusations that painted Henyard's leadership as increasingly reckless, but it didn't stop there. Local residents began to notice that Henyard was using taxpayer-funded resources for personal benefit. One of the most troubling revelations came when it was discovered that the mayor had hired local police officers to act as her personal bodyguards, a questionable use of public funds. As the town's residents watched, many began to feel that Henyard was more concerned with consolidating her power than managing the town responsibly. The dictator of Dolton, as Henyard's behavior became more erratic, local businesses began to feel the pressure. There were reports of the mayor shutting down businesses that didn't comply with her demands or political interests, creating an atmosphere of fear in the local business community. Some called her the Dolton dictator due to her iron-fisted approach. And as more details came to light, it was clear that the mayor was more interested in consolidating her own power than serving the interests of her constituents. Her spending habits, too, raised eyebrows. Reports surfaced that Henyard had spent tens of thousands of taxpayer dollars on lavish events, such as a Valentine's Day gala featuring R&B stars like Keek Wyatt. At a time when the town of Dolton was facing serious financial problems, Henyard was splurging on extravagant celebrations, further alienating residents who were struggling to make ends meet. This financial recklessness wasn't limited to lavish parties. A formal investigation into Dolton's finances found that the town had gone from a $5 million surplus to a nearly $4 million deficit under Henyard's leadership. The question on everyone's mind was, where did the money go? It became increasingly clear that Henyard's personal spending, including shopping sprees on Amazon and Target, had contributed to the town's financial downfall. Blackmail and intimidation. A power play gone too far. One of the most explosive accusations against Henyard came from political commentator Candace Owens, who claimed that the mayor was using blackmail and intimidation to maintain her grip on power. Owens alleged that Henyard had been pressuring residents and business owners to remain silent about her behavior, threatening to cut off essential services like water and garbage collection if they spoke out.
Several new developments in South suburban Dolton today. First, the state comptroller has suspended some payments to the village because it has failed to follow the law by providing financial reports.
This is a chilling assertion that a mayor would use vital public services as leverage over the people she was supposed to serve. Owens' claims were not the only ones. Numerous Dolton residents came forward with stories of harassment and intimidation, all at the hands of their own mayor. According to these accounts, Henyard had used the local police as personal enforcers, sending officers to intimidate and silence her political enemies. One business owner even claimed that after refusing to donate to Henyard campaign, his business license was inexplicably revoked. This kind of behavior, some argued, resembled tactics seen in mob-style political corruption, not the governance of a modern American town. As the accusations mounted, residents started to demand answers. One of the most damaging claims came from Dolton's former police chief, who was fired after refusing to follow Henyard's orders. According to the chief, Henyard had instructed him to target her political enemies and issue citations to anyone who opposed her. When the chief refused to comply, he was dismissed without proper board approval, further fueling the anger of Dolton residents. This decision, along with other questionable appointments, led to even more scandal. In fact, a Cook County court reversed several of Henyard's appointments, including that of the police chief, citing her lack of legal authority to make those decisions in the first place, aligning with Donald Trump, a desperate move. As if the scandals weren't enough, Henyard's political future took a strange turn when she expressed support for Donald Trump. In the midst of growing controversies and mounting legal challenges, Henyard took to Facebook to congratulate Trump on his victory in the 2024 election, even hinting at a desire to work with him. This move raised eyebrows for many, as it seemed out of place for a mayor whose town was in turmoil. Was Henyard trying to align herself with the former president as a way to salvage her embattled career? The timing was certainly curious. As local support for her dwindled, she seemed to think that aligning herself with a high-profile figure like Trump would help shift the narrative. However, this move didn't seem to gain her any significant political capital. If anything, it raised more questions about her motives and whether she was genuinely concerned with the best interests of Dolton, or if she was simply clinging to power in any way she could. The public's reaction was divided, with many questioning whether her sudden support for Trump was a strategic move or a desperate cry for help. Personal finances and unpaid rent, a further blow to her reputation. Even more damaging than her political and financial scandals were Henyard's personal financial issues. It was revealed that despite earning a substantial salary as mayor, Henyard and her boyfriend Cale Woods had accumulated over $5,000 in unpaid rent.
Tonight was a special board meeting because business has not gotten done at 2 previous meetings, so that's some progress there, but this meeting was not without its fair share.
Her landlord, who had previously been a friend, eventually grew frustrated and filed for eviction, even changing the locks to the property. For a public official with significant authority in her town to face eviction due to unpaid rent was a humiliating blow, particularly given her lavish spending on public funds. This personal financial trouble further highlighted the disconnect between Henyard's actions and the reality of the financial struggles faced by the people she was meant to serve. While Dolton's finances were in disarray, Henyard seemed to be living a life of luxury, contributing to the growing disillusionment among the town's residents. The fallout, lawsuits, investigations, and calls for resignation as the situation continued to spiral out of control. Henyard found herself facing multiple lawsuits, including one from her former police chief. The lawsuits, along with public outcry, contributed to the mounting pressure on Henyard to step down. Many Dolton residents were calling for her resignation, and some even suggested that the newly elected Cook County State's attorney should make Henyard the first case referred to the Public Corruption Unit. Despite the growing chorus of discontent, Henyard showed no signs of backing down. In fact, Henyard remained defiant, even as FBI investigations and legal proceedings loomed on the horizon. Despite everything, she still intended to run for re-election, seemingly confident that she could retain power. However, with all the scandals piling up, it seemed unlikely that she could convince the residents of Dolton to re-elect her. The people of Dolton had seen enough, and many were now looking for someone who could restore order and integrity to their town. A chaotic future. Will Henyard survive? As Tiffany Henyard continues to navigate the escalating scandal surrounding her leadership, the future of Dolton remains uncertain. The allegations of financial mismanagement, personal scandals, and authoritarian tactics have severely damaged her reputation. Still, Henyard is determined to hold on to power, but whether she can survive the growing tide of public outrage is another question entirely. The people of Dolton are demanding accountability, and the pressure is mounting. The FBI investigations, the lawsuits, and the public calls for her resignation are just the beginning of what could be a long and drawn-out downfall for the mayor. Whether Henyard will be able to maintain her grip on power or whether Dolton will see a change in leadership is a question that remains unanswered. But one thing is clear, the drama is far from over. As the situation in Dolton continues to unfold, residents and political observers alike will be watching closely. Will Tiffany Henyard be able to turn the tide and salvage her political career? Or is this the beginning of the end for her reign as mayor? Only time will tell. Candace Owens exposes the truth about Mayor Tiffany Henyard's town. In recent political discourse, a key figure has risen to prominence. Candace Owens. Known for her vocal and often controversial viewpoints, Owens has garnered attention for her sharp critiques of political figures and issues, particularly within the African American community. Her latest focus has been on Mayor Tiffany Henyard, a figure whose tenure as mayor of a small town has become a flashpoint for Owens' commentary on urban governance, leadership, and societal issues. Mayor Tiffany Henyard, an up-and-coming political figure, has been serving as the mayor of a mid-sized city where she has advocated for progressive public safety and economic stability in Henyard's town. In her analysis, Owens argues that Henyard's focus on social issues such as criminal justice reform and racial equity has come at the expense of more pressing concerns, particularly public safety and economic development. Owens highlights rising crime rates, underfunded police departments, and a struggling local economy as examples of the mayor's inability to balance progressive ideals with the practical needs of the community. Owens is particularly critical of Henyard's handling of crime in the town. According to Owens, Henyard has pushed for defunding the police, redirecting funds to social programs, rather than investing in law enforcement or crime prevention initiatives. This, Owens claims, has created a sense of lawlessness in the community, as citizens feel less safe and law enforcement struggles to effectively do their job. Owens argues that this shift in priorities has not only left residents vulnerable, but has also led to a lack of accountability for criminal behavior, ultimately creating an environment where crime can flourish unchecked. Furthermore, Owens points to the town's economic woes as a direct result of Henyard's policies. While Henyard has made strides in promoting diversity and inclusion, Owens argues that the mayor's policies have led to a stifling of small businesses and discouraged investments in the area. Owens suggests that Henyard's push for higher taxes and increased government regulation has made it more difficult for local businesses to thrive, leading to job losses and reduced opportunities for residents. According to Owens, the town's economic stagnation can be traced directly to Henyard's inability to create a favorable environment for entrepreneurship and growth. Beyond crime and the economy, Owens also highlights the deterioration of education in Henyard's town. According to her claims, Henyard's administration has consistently prioritized social justice initiatives over education reforms, resulting in a public school system that is underfunded and struggling to meet the needs of its students. Owens argues that this failure to invest in education will have long-term consequences for the community, as the next generation of children will be ill-prepared to succeed in an increasingly competitive world. At the heart of Owens' critique is the broader issue of progressive governance, which she believes prioritizes ideology over practicality. In her view, Henyard's policies reflect the broader trend of left-wing leaders focusing on social justice causes without regard for the tangible effects of those policies on the community. Owens contends that Henyard, like many other liberal mayors across the country, is more concerned with being seen as a champion of progressive causes than with actually improving the lives of her constituents. Despite the criticisms, Henyard's supporters argue that her policies are an attempt to address long-standing inequalities and systemic issues that have plagued marginalized communities for decades. They contend that the mayor's initiatives are necessary to create a more equitable society and that any short-term struggles in crime or the economy are simply the growing pains of a town undergoing much-needed transformation. In response to Owens' claims, Henyard has defended her record, emphasizing the progress that has been made in areas such as healthcare access, housing affordability, and racial equality. She argues that the changes she is pushing for are part of a long-term vision to create a more just and inclusive society, even if the results aren't immediately apparent. Ultimately, Candace Owens' exposé of Mayor Tiffany Henyard's town raises important questions about the effectiveness of progressive policies and leadership. While Henyard's supporters argue that her vision is one of long-term progress, Owens' critique highlights the potential pitfalls of focusing on ideological goals without addressing the immediate practical needs of the community. Whether Henyard's policies will ultimately succeed or fail remains to be seen. But Owen's powerful analysis serves as a reminder of the complexities of governance and the challenges that leaders face when balancing ideals with the realities of leadership. This is a chilling assertion that a mayor would use vital public services as leverage over the people she was supposed to serve. Owen's claims were not the only ones. Numerous Dolton residents came forward with stories of harassment and intimidation, all at the hands of their own mayor. According to these accounts, Henyard had used the local police as personal enforcers, sending officers to intimidate and silence her political enemies. One business